should have seen Lady B's old spot. I thought that was going to happen. Old spot.
Pleased to be joined by student athletes Timmy Allen to my immediate right, Marcus Carr, the man in the middle, and Brock Cunningham. This time, if you have questions, please raise your hands. Front row here on the aisle.
Hey, Thomas Jones, Austin, American Statesman. Gentlemen, did you guys watch any of the Penn State game? And I think they made 13 threes like y'all did. And anyone can answer, what stood out watching them play and beat A&M?
Start with Timmy first.
Yeah, like you said, they're a really good team. They beat a good A&M team last night. They hit a lot of shots. They got a lot of guys that can score a lot of different ways. Obviously, that was a focus for us against Colgate, so not much changes there. They got a couple unique players who are really good around the basket and getting other people's shots. So it's no different than any other team. Prepare the right way, watch a lot of film, honing on the details of what they're trying to do and just locking on that. But coming off the Colgate game, definitely got a sense of urgency running people off the three-point line, and that'll be a big key in this game.
Marcus?
Yeah, piggybacking off what TA said, we definitely watched that game, and they're a good team. They shoot the ball well. They have a lot of guys who can knock down shots, and some guys who can create shots for others as well. So we're just locked in on our game plan and looking to execute.
Brock?
They covered it pretty well.
Okay, other questions? On the right side by the aisle.
Ben Jones, StateCollege.com. You guys force turnovers better than any team that Penn State's played, but Penn State takes care of the ball probably better than any team that you guys have played. What's the art of forcing a turnover?
Start with Marcus.
Just trying to speed guys up. It's different every game depending on who the team is and what people were trying to attack on defense and stuff like that. But genuinely, we just want to be the most aggressive team and try to speed teams up. But like you said, they do a pretty good job of taking care of the ball. So it's going to be a battle of two good teams.
Brock?
Marcus is doing a great job today. He covered it again.
Timmy, anything to add?
Likewise.
Okay, we're going to go to the aisle in the back here, and then we'll come up to you up front.
Timmy, I know you guys feel like you're going to win this game. Why do you like your chances going into tomorrow?
I mean, with this team, I like our chances any game. I'm not. This is a great team we're playing. We have to prepare just like any other team. I just think if we hang our head on our preparation like we always do, we're confident in that. We still got to go out and play the game. We respect our opponent 100 times through. We know they're a really good team, but we're just going to hone in on our preparation, focus on what we do, what we can control, and just go from there and play off that.
We're going to move up front on the same side on the aisle.
Timmy, are you going to guard Pickett, and what do you think of Pickett? And in a case like this, would that be something you approach RT and say, hey, I'd like to mark him?
I think he's a great player. We've broken down some of his film. He's a guy who can get a lot of buckets himself, rebound the ball, pass the ball. That's something I admire. I feel like I'm kind of that way too. So I like it. I like the matchup. I'm going to be matched on him sometimes. Sometimes other guys will be on him. But that's definitely something I'm excited for, something I focus on going into games. He's a great player, and I'm just trying to make him uncomfortable as much as I can, along with the other guys who are going to be matched on him. Just try to take him off his spots a little bit, make him uncomfortable as possible, play on the scouting report. But, yeah, I love matchups like that. Nothing different than anything I've gone up against all year, so I'm excited.
We're going to take a question from Zoom. Go ahead in the back there.
We have a question from Jeff Jones. Jeff, when you're ready.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones from KVU here in Austin. The NCAA released a video, I think yesterday, on RT's journey, and Dylan DeSue had a soundbite in there that basically told us he takes pride in knowing that RT's future at UT is connected to this run. Do you guys take pride in the fact that you're not necessarily playing for RT's job, but the farther you go, the more likely it is he'll stay here in Austin?
Start with Brock.
That's a great question, but with any game in March Madness, you're focused on the next game. Worrying about the repercussions of how we play down the line won't help us win those games. So, truthfully, we're focused about the next game. We're giving 100% of our attention to Penn State right now.
Marcus?
Yeah, like Brock said, our attention is always on, the next game and what we have to do. Never really trying to get too far ahead of ourselves. We kind of like to say live where our feet are. So we're just focused on preparing for Penn State as best as we can. And as far as playing for, our team, we're always playing for each other. This whole team, this whole organization is a family. So we're always playing for each other.
Jimmy?
Like Marcus said, we're just playing for the guy next to each other. That also includes RT. But not a main focus, but we're just playing for each other.
We have a question on the right side here.
Craig Way, Longhorn Radio Network. You guys knowing RT as well as you know him, I'd like for each of you to say what you think is the strangest or goofiest phrase that he has. Live where your feet are, meat and potatoes, whatever. What's the most interesting one, or the one that was the most challenging to figure out?
Marcus?
I gotta think. Here you go.
I'll do an easy one. I'm going to go with combo plate. Like you said, meat and potatoes. That's, that heavy day going at it. Combo plate is, combo the meat and potatoes and the laser focus, putting it all into one. That's one of my favorites for sure.
Brock?
The haze in the barn is one that he likes a lot, just about being prepared and the work is already done. Now you just got to go take care of business.
Jimmy?
I don't know a favorite phrase. He's got a ton of them. He's just got a lot of comic relief moments, and it's good for us. I like that.
Other questions for our student athletes?
Have you guys, I know you guys have been here for 2 years. Brock, you've been here, seems like forever. Have you guys thought about, you talk about the next game, but if you win that next game, you do something that hadn't been done by you guys in 15 years. Is that something you think about? Or?
Not so much, because like we were talking earlier, you get focused on too far ahead and you end up losing the moment. So we're just working on winning this game and all the preparation that goes into it, because the rest of the day and all of tomorrow is the most important 48 hours of the season right now.
Still have 5 minutes left in this session here. Questions on the aisle? Go ahead.
Montredave, Daily Texan. Y'all have talked about RT's kind of focus and his calmness. How does that affect the way you guys prepare, and how has it helped you guys kind of in the stretch, and how does that calm attitude stay true even when, this is the most important moments of the season, as you said?
Start with Timmy first.
I think specifically it helps with communication from him to us to him in huddles. There's a sense of calmness with RT. He doesn't want a lot going on. Obviously, there's a lot of player dialogue, but we always circle back to what him and our staff is saying. I just think his level of calmness and communication and trust in us gives us a sense of confidence. And it lets us just go out and play free. And I think that's what you want as a player. So I think that's something that he really instills in us.
Marcus?
Timmy pretty much hit it on the head, but yeah, when the leader at the head is someone who's calm and poised, it makes it that much easier for me as a point guard to continue to be calm and poised, and it just flows throughout the whole entire team. So he does a great job of that, whether we're in timeouts or just small little moments or whenever it is, but he does a pretty good job of just keeping us calm and collected.
Brock?
Piggyback on those guys. They killed it.
Going to go to the front row here, right here, sir, and then we're get to the back and come back to the aisle.
David Jones from Penn Live. Marcus, what are the differences you've found between Big Ten basketball and Big 12 basketball style-wise?
Yeah, definitely, two different leagues. I would say when I was playing in the Big Ten, it was different pace for sure, different pace of league. A lot bigger guys in terms of just post presence, bigger guys. Still a very competitive league. I remember playing in there. It was night in, night out. You're still playing a lot of good teams. I know it's a bit different now, coaching changes, a lot of different teams, stuff like that, but I definitely enjoy playing in the Big Ten. It was tough. It was a grind, and the Big 12 is the toughest league in the country, I feel like, this year. So it's been tough to go through that as well, but also fun at the same time, just as a competitor going through them. But two great leagues. I'm definitely grateful to have played in both of them.
We're going to go on the right side, gentlemen, then we'll come up to the aisle.
Marcus, you made a comment last night in the postgame news conference when somebody asked you about your shot keying the 11-0 run, and you said, well, it was my turnover that started it, and you made a point about you went to the bench briefly and came back in. What goes through your mind if you have a turnover like that and you do go to the bench about clearing the mind and going back to work?
Yeah, just collecting myself. I know, especially as the point guard, the guy who's kind of supposed to set the tone out there. I never want to be the one to be, making the mistakes or turning the ball over. But, really these guys, they had my back the whole time. Nobody was ever, they'll tell me like, hey, obviously take care of the ball. But they never lose confidence in me. That once I got right back in the game, they're like, you're good. I knocked down a shot, and it was like, all right, everybody, settle back down. But really just give all the confidence to my teammate, all the credit to my teammates and then staff just still having confidence in me. I went through that little spell right there, but they still had confidence in me to come back in the game and make plays.
Going to go on the aisle on our left side here. Go ahead,
I'm
sir.
going to ask Timmy a question, then a follow-up with Marcus. Timmy, the last 7 or 8 games, your scoring has dropped a bit, but your assists have gone up, and guys like Dylan and Tyrese have kind of gotten going more. How have you changed your game offensively the last month and a half? And Marcus, what have you seen from the way Timmy's maybe changed things up on offensive end, doling out a little bit more?
I think I'm just kind of taking the game as it comes. I'm not really forcing anything. Going back to before the 3 games I missed, my scoring has been down, but I'm still making plays. And I'm just trying to play to win. Like, I've scored over 2,000 points. I don't got nothing to prove. I like to hang my head on that, but at the same time, I'm just taking the game as it comes. And missing 3 games, watching the team work out how they worked out, and coming back, I'm not trying to come in and be a pig. I'm not thirsty to score. I want to come in and read the game at a high level and play the game with a high IQ and make the game easier on my teammates. Seeing Dylan and other guys thrive is not something that makes me envious or hungrier to score. I kind of just take that and play off them. I know it's going to come back to me tenfold. That's something I'm never worried about. So just play the game naturally. I'm never someone who's going to try and be somebody outside of myself. So I'm just taking the game as it comes, reading with a high IQ.
Like he said, him coming back, we never really had a question of, how he was going to be playing. And I would say that's all year, whether he's scoring or assisting the ball, he's been doing that both at a high level. And, he's an aggressive player and teams have to respect him. And I feel like that's why he's able to, get the assists that he's been able to have. We need him to be aggressive on offense, and aggressive doesn't always mean, shooting the ball. So he's out there making plays for us on both ends of the floor, and, that's all that really matters to us. And we also know that he's able to step up in big moments and give us baskets as well. So cool.
Have time for one final question. You're going to go on the aisle again. If you can give your name and affiliation, thank you.
John High, Fox 7, Austin. For Marcus and Timmy, this fan base has embraced you guys since you got here. What would it mean to you two to be a part of the group that takes this team to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2008?
It'd be a surreal moment. It'd be exactly what we envisioned since the day we got here. We came here with a plan. And since I've been here in this community and just been embraced and loved, man, that's all I'm really here for. I want to win. I want to win for the community. I want to feel the love. Just going back to Austin, after a win on the road and feeling that, I could only imagine what it'd be like to go back, headed to the Sweet 16. I'm sure that'd be a great feeling. But and just the winning tradition of Texas, we want to bring that back. It's something we've always had the goal of doing. Seeing different teams around campus go take pictures, winning championships in front of the tower, and we finally got to do that. I'm glad I could say I could do that once, but I want to do it again. I was always waiting for that day, so I'm glad that happened. But I couldn't imagine what it'd be like going back to Austin, head to the Sweet 16. So it's definitely something we're tracking for.
Yeah, like Timmy said, It definitely is. It's like you said, it's surreal. Just feeling the love from the community, being embraced by them, and just makes you want to play that much harder for them and succeed. We want to do it as a team for us, but knowing the community that we have, the school that we have, and like you said, the tradition of winning that is going on at our school. We want to definitely be a part of that elite club at our school that gets to say we're winners. So we just want to bring that back to Austin.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll have Coach thoughts about tomorrow's opponent.
Okay. Tomorrow's opponent, very well coached team. Mike has done a great job with the program there at Penn State. Man, you talk about one of the best passing teams I've seen all year on tape, getting a chance to watch them in person. Elite level passing team, elite level shooters with a really challenging, unique player in Pickett who kind of does it all. He's a guy that can score the basketball, pass the basketball, and, man, elite-level shooters around him in Funk and Lundy. So really good team, big challenge for us, one of the better three-point shooting teams in the country. It's going to be a great matchup.
This time we'll take questions for Coach Terry. Please raise your hand on the aisle here.
Montredeve, Daily Texan. Coach Sherry, you've talked in the past about how you try to bring a calm attitude to the game. Can you talk a little bit about some of the personal influences that kind of help keep you grounded, especially during stressful times like this? You've talked in the past about your faith and the impact of your family. What are some of those things that keep you calm in March?
No, absolutely. I think sometimes, just the experiences that you've had and, a lot of times, people that you work with, I worked with Rick Barnes for 9 years and, we were in postseason play every year and we made deep runs in March and, Rick's one of those guys that really keeps the guys loose and he's really loose himself a lot. He's one of the most wittiest guys that you would know in terms of always joking and just kept everybody, the staff, the players, everybody loose. And I worked with another guy, Jerry Wainwright. We had great runs in postseason play as well, and I thought Coach was the same way as well. I think you just have to kind of be who you are. I think so many times, and I tell our guys all the time, if you spend a lot of time into worrying about this or worrying about that, you don't need to worry. If you're a guy that stay prayed up and you have faith, there's no need to worry. You put it in God's hands and everything takes care of itself. You control what you can control, and worry just takes away a lot of anxiety, gives you a lot of anxiety in terms of, what I have to do. You don't need that. Just, again, nothing positive comes from worrying. So just try to live your day every day and be positive, and you'll have positive results.
Going to stay on the aisle there. Go ahead.
Coach John High, Fox 7 Austin. You had a lot of great things to say about Penn State. How would you describe your team, and what do you like about your squad going into tomorrow?
You know what, I think our team's obviously playing our best basketball of the year. I think our defense has traveled with us. We talked about that all year long in terms of, we play really good defense at home, and we've carried that over into playing on the road and really locking into the details. They've been very focused in regards to what we're trying to do offensive-wise, defensive game plan-wise. They played really hard and unselfish, and as a team, they've been really connected. I've been really proud of this group. I think, they don't get a lot of notoriety in terms of what they've done this season, and they've clearly done it themselves. They stayed the course and really worked this season all year long. They're sitting right now with the fourth most wins in school history right now over the course of this season. And sometimes we don't look at that. We try to live in the present, and we are very present oriented and where you live, where your feet are. But they've done some great things to this point right now, and I think they're still a hungry team and still want more.
Other questions? Okay, going to go on the right side, Coach.
Craig Way, Longhorn Radio Network. RT, when in your past, in your experience as an assistant and as a head coach, do you notice a difference in demeanor and focus and attitude with your basketball teams after the first tournament game is done and going into the second tournament game? Is there more of a calmness? And how does the coaching staff go about the reinforcement of that in getting them mentally and emotionally ready for the round 2 game?
That's a great question, Craig. I think as you well know, it doesn't matter what seed you have going into that first game. It really doesn't matter. Everybody in the tournament is a really good team. They've all had a great season, and they're not going to be intimidated by anyone on a neutral court. And so, with that being said, I think you have to place a really, really high emphasis on being prepared and not giving 20 minutes away. We've tried to do that all year long, and understanding that you got to play the game for 40 minutes, and every 20 minutes is very valuable. And I think we've had that approach throughout conference play. We've carried that into postseason play, and I thought we displayed that pretty well the other night. I think once you get past the first game, you're in the tournament. I mean, you're really in the tournament. There's not anybody that you're going to play in that second round, again, that hasn't had to work really hard and have that kind of emphasis and continue to be able to finish in advance. Those teams, going to the next round, they're really, really good, and they're confident. And I think our group right now going into the second round, we know we've got a great challenge ahead, but we also have played in this building, and I think there'll be a level of comfort, coming in and competing against one of the best teams in the country.
Coach, we're going to take a question on Zoom in the back. Mallory?
We have a question from Jeff Jones. Jeff, when you're ready.
Hey, Coach, this is Jeff Jones from KView here in Austin. A moment ago, Timmy spoke about the communication in huddles, and he said that your sense of calm and your encouraging player dialogue gives them a lot of confidence. Do you have like a huddle philosophy? Was there a strategy to building the player dialogue and the way that you organize huddles?
Well, I think we've continued to do what we've done all year in terms of the way we organize our huddle. We have guards on one side and we have our bigs on the other side, so we're able to communicate what we have to in terms of strategy-wise, offensively and defensively. And then the guys that are subbing in behind those guys or behind those positions. But I think when you go in a huddle, I think first of all you have to try to, take a deep breath and kind of just regroup a little bit, whether you're playing well or not playing well, whether you need to make some adjustments or not make adjustments. I think when you go in a huddle, it's a lot like a pit stop. You've got to be able to go in there. You got to be able to give the information. The guys have to be able to go in and take the information, and then they got to obviously take it back to the court. So I think there has to be a level of calmness. I think you have to wait a little bit before you go into the huddle because, sometimes the huddles can be very emotional in a positive way. Sometimes they can be kind of in a negative way at times to where guys have to come in and just kind of calm down, take a deep breath, and let's regroup. And we've had to do that throughout the course of this season. And when we've just said to our guys, everybody just take a deep breath. Let's look around here. Let's stay calm right now. We're poised. We've been here before. And let's regroup and let's talk about what we really have to do. And I think we've been able to do that at a very high level throughout the course of conference play and postseason play.
We're going to go on the left side, Coach, in the back row.
Rodney, Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News. Last night sitting up there, Marcus went out of his way to say, I needed to come out of the game for a while. That changed the game. I'm wondering how rare that is for a guy in his situation. And also, does he seem to put a lot of this on himself and maybe a little too much? And how kind of you seen his mindset during this time?
No, great question, Mike. Marcus Carr, boy, I tell you what, he's had an incredible season. He's been an incredible teammate. And I think throughout the course of this season, even when he's not playing well or scoring the ball particularly well, he's been a guy that's made other guys around him better. He's trusted his teammates all year long. He's so bought into winning and won to win at the highest level. Last night, he had a couple of uncharacteristic turnovers late in the game, and some of that could have been a little fatigue, staying out there a little bit longer. But again, he's quickly to really kind of just hit the reset button again a little bit. I went over to him at that particular time as he was on the bench and just said, hey, just relax, man. We know you're going to play your best at the biggest moment. You'll get those back, no problem. You play great all night long. You'll be in there to finish this game. Finish this game like you have all year. And, again, nobody wants to win as much as Marcus Carr does.
We're going to stay in the back row here on the aisle.
Question about Tyrese. When the crowd yesterday, this is awfully close to Iowa State, and the crowd was, not super friendly towards Tyrese. What has his attitude been towards coming back to Iowa, and how's he kind of focused in on playing an environment that might be a little tougher than he's used to?
Tyrese has been great all year long, whether we're at home or on the road. College athletics as a whole, the landscape of it, not just Ames, Iowa, but I think everybody's just going to have to get used to understanding kids going to go where they want to go, and you shouldn't punish those kids and you shouldn't treat those kids that way. That's not fair. That's not fair to them, and I just don't think that's right. The landscape's changed. You got to adapt and adjust. Tyrese was incredible when we went to Ames, Iowa. He never once ever paid any attention to all the awful things that were said to him during that game. He just played the game. He didn't get caught up in the nonsense. I was so proud of him. I said it to our guys the night we got back at 2 a.m, how he carried himself like a true professional and a respectful young man. All the things that were said, never once did he retaliate. College athletics as a whole needs to understand guys are going to come and go, okay, and you can't hold those guys or try to say things to those guys. That's not right. That's not fair. If we had it happen in our building, I'll stop and say, hey, you can't do that. Adapt and adjust. Guys are going to come and go all the time. Leave it alone. That's not fair.
Another question in the back on the same side.
Yeah. Hi, Rodney. Adam Kilgore with the Washington Post. You were telling a nice story the other day about how when your father would tell you every time a job opened, that was a Power 5 job, like, hey, if that's your job, go get it. Did you see yourself that way before this season? Had you at all resigned yourself to maybe that won't be part of my journey, or how did you view yourself in regard to that?
Well, I think throughout the course of my career, I think I've always really tried to live where my feet are in terms of you got to treat every job like it's your last job. You can't be looking at this job or that job. You got to do the job where you are to the fullest. And if you're blessed to be wanted another opportunity, like I thought I would at some point, being at the mid-major level, I had to do where I was at an unbelievable level. And I thought, at doing that you would, probably have an opportunity at some point to be a Power 5 coach. My dad all the time, instilled in me to dream big and want to be one of those guys. If that's your goals and aspirations to be able to do, don't let anyone take that away from you. And I said the other day that he always dreamed bigger than I did in terms of, seeing myself on that stage. And I think through hard work, and I think through, attention to details in terms of your craft, I think, and through, again, with having strong faith. A lot of times we think that we should be over here or we should be there. Or, God's going to put you right where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? He has the master plan. When we're just living in the everyday plan. But he's going to put you where you're supposed to be. We think we should be over here coaching here, doing this. He's going to put you right where you're supposed to be. And I know right now I'm right where I'm supposed to be, working with the team that I'm supposed to be working with right now. And I'm excited about what's to come in the future.
You have about 5 minutes left in this session. Any other questions? Going to stay on the aisle?
Coach, a little earlier you were talking about the guys being hungry. How hungry are you to keep this thing rolling, and how big are you dreaming now?
Well, I think you never want the journey to the end. I mean, we've had a special year this year where we've endured a lot of adversity and some challenges, and I thought our guys have stayed the course and worked the season all year long. And, as a result of that, you want to ride this thing as far as you can ride it, and we know we're only guaranteed 40 more minutes against, an elite level team that's playing really, really well right now, one of the hottest teams in the tournament right now. But it's been a lot of fun. We tried to enjoy it along the way, but I just try to encourage the guys to want more and to really go out and live where your feet are and stay in the present, and let's take this thing as far as we can.
Other questions out there? We're going to go right behind this gentleman on the aisle.
You touched on Pickett a little bit. Are there any comparisons to guys you've seen throughout the season for him, and what are some of the specific ways that you can try and focus in on limiting his influence on the game?
He's a big-time player. I think he's an NBA player. He reminds me a lot of, I start going way back a little bit, he reminds me, and I watched him yesterday live, I was like, man, that's Tony Allen. Tony Allen I was in the league with Tony Allen at Oklahoma State when he came in the league, and, man, he changed Oklahoma State and made him a Final Four team. But Pickett, boy, he's one of those tough matchups that can score the ball. He can pass the ball. He makes other guys around him better. In our league, the closest guy I could probably liken him to is Keontae Johnson from Kansas State. It was an extremely hard matchup for us this year because he could really score the ball. He could kind of play bully ball a little bit, kind of like Pickett does. Pickett plays some bully ball a little bit as well in terms of really just backing undersized guys down and size guys down and really trying to put himself in scoring position or in a great passing position for a teammate. But that's probably the closest comparison we had this year to deal with was Keontae Johnson.
We'll switch to the right side, Coach.
RT, you mentioned about the guys getting in the arena and having played a game in the arena. I know part of your routine is when you get them, you show them where the scoreboards are and where the benches are and things like that. How much does it help now having played a game in there and you just got through with an hour and a half practice in there in terms of the comfort level of the rims? I know it's different when as a dome as opposed to a true basketball arena, but how much of a comfort is that?
Sure. No, I think, again, we've had a chance to be in this building already. We played, and you alluded to the fact that we got a chance to practice here again today. Now it's just about really just grooving your shot and, continue to work your craft. I mean, we're not going to come back over here tomorrow for a shoot-around. We're going to be at an alternative site, and it's just a matter of just seeing the ball go through the basket and continue to do what you've done in terms of your reps. But, again, I always get back to it's not so much about you don't know how well you're going to shoot the basketball night in and night out, but you can bring your defense every night. So we like to hang our hat on our identity in terms of knowing we're going to guard hard every night, hoping that we come over here and make more shots than we miss. But I think we'll be more than familiar with this building come tomorrow night.
Any final? Okay, we're going to go back row.
Yep. Rodney, I think it was Christian Bishop last night who sort of spoke in front of the team and congratulated you for it was your first NCAA tournament win. One, what did that moment mean to you? And two, I know it's you're scouting and tournament's a bubble, but have you taken a half second between last night and this morning to reflect on that milestone in your career?
You know what? I've really just I'm so proud of our guys. They're the ones out there playing. We try to put them in the right positions and situations where they can be successful on both ends of the floor. But I was just really proud of those guys. Last year we played in the first round and we were able to win. And we put this team back together this year, and 7 of those guys are returning. And I'm just really happy for them, and I want more for them. I thought they had a great experience last year, and the thing I've said to those guys, each round you get a chance to advance, it just gets better and better. So, last night was just no different than any other night. Playing in the Big 12 every night, you have to play a really good opponent, and you keep it for one night. You enjoy it for one night, and it's on to the next opponent, and trying to figure out what we need to do to try to win the next ball game.
Time for one final question. Anybody out there with one last question for the coach? Okay, Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.